So here I am walking towards the actual outcrop. So I'm not too sure if I made a video. And as you can see the contact between the basalt and the actual siltstone. So this is an unconformity because there's been some erosion of the actual siltstone before the basalt was placed. So there would be a paleosoil. So it looks like that. This part here is the actual soil, or we call it a paleosoil because it's a fossilized soil. And you can see we have a lot of regolith here, so a lot of broken up soil, but this is highly eroded, so it could be, this just could be an artifact of the current erosional circumstances. But as you can see, the basalt doesn't erode as quickly. So there's a contact line. If we move around, you can see the unconformity continues, and it looks like it might have a that wouldn't be calcrete. That needs a lot drier environment. This part of Australia was a lot wetter in the past. So I'm not too sure what those lines are. It's probably just an artifact of the actual soil formation. So this is the Deep Creek or Costerfield siltstone. It does, so it's all pretty much silty. It probably has clay. Yeah, it feels silty to me, so it's definitely a silt. It's eroding pretty quickly. And the fact is this is eroding a lot faster than the basalt, so it's actually undercutting the basalt. So this was formed about 420 million years ago, so quite a long time ago. It was uplifted, so this would have been under a mountain range. It was uplifted, cut back, so this is actually quite deformed, although you can't see any laminations or bedding in the actual rock. It looks just massive, so just one massive bed. This is classed as a mudstone, so probably and has sandstone, so that might be turbidites where the sand come from beach area and slid down the side of a continental shelf. So this is probably a continental shelf environment because it has silt as well. There's no clays. Clays are generally deep, and also you can get limestones and other type of rock deposited by organisms, but they're usually shallow. Then you got other deposits deposited by deep marines. So let's continue around. Okay, so you got an environment where this is leading down. So this is a hillside, and it would have gone over to a river course which was over that way. That's cutting it down, and that's been happening since probably about 300 million years. So the mountain range has been slowly cut down, and then about 1 to 2 million years ago this basalt was deposited. So if there was anything deposited on top of this, it's obviously gone. So there is a roughly a difference of about 300 million years between this deposit and the actual basalt. So that's a discrepancy you can see in the geological form timeline, which, you know, is not uncommon around the world. So if we come up here, you can see that there is a pretty much a red type of material. That's probably a more intact form of this Deep Creek siltstone. It does look silty to me, and the basalt up the top there is quite thin, so this is heading towards the top of the hill. And I'm not too sure where this lava come from. Probably would have come from the north or even the west. The east, probably not. Now there is a bulla granodiorite, but that's a lot older that's Devonian, which is a lot older than this basalt. But as you can see, this is more fresh material here. So as far as I know, there are no fossils. You can see some bedding, so it's actually coming down, striking dips that way. But this is also a lot fractured and eroded as well. And this part looks a bit massive. So I don't know too much about the Costerfield and the Deep Creek formation. It looks like there might have some bedding there. But all I know is that most of these siltstone sandstone deposits in Victoria come from the Silurian or the Silurian time period, and they are marine. So usually the continental shelves, most of it's continental slopes, being the oldest heading towards South Australia, and the youngest heading towards Malakuta, so that's eastern Victoria. So the oldest in the west, the youngest in the east. As you can see, yeah, this is pretty eroded siltstone. It feels silty, it feels very smooth. Clay feels terrible. Sand seems gritty. So as you can see, it's going around, it's actually quite thick. And this was all excavated in the past. And if we go around this way, you can see that the actual basalt does increase in thickness again. And here's the large slab that might have actually fallen down from high elevations. And you do need to cover this up, or if this is used for residential purposes, see, this is actually fallen down here, you'd need to actually cut this back, cut the basalt back right. So this angle, it's probably about 80 degrees, it's too steep for something like this. So here we have some material that's actually fallen down, and if we look at it, yeah, I don't think this contains any fossils. Nah, probably doesn't. But it is a nice type of rock and it breaks down very easily. So it's a fresh outcrop there. It's like a bluish colour, greyish colour. And here's an old collapse where it's been eroded, so it's quite a while ago. Anyway, so we're coming around, and I've done this in another video, but this siltstone grades into a unconsolidated material that's younger than the basalt but older than the siltstone, so it's in between. Apart from that, we can't get a date range because there's no igneous rock in it, so you can't actually get a date range. So all we know it's in between 420 and 2 million years ago, and that actually grades somewhere about here. Well, maybe it's over here. And I'm at the most dangerous part here because they recently had a collapse. Yeah, so roughly over there, where that is where the another unconformity. So you've got 2 unconformities, and that unconformity goes all the way up that way. So this is part of, so it is a clay with small rocks in it, so with gravels, so gravelly clay. So this is probably some type of lake deposit, I'd say, because you know it has clays and small gravel, so it doesn't have as much energy. Or it could be a where we are now. Most likely, it's not part of a. Well, oh, sorry, I was just getting distracted. Probably not part of a tributary or even a delta system. So I'm just going to say it's a lake, shallow lake deposit. Actually, it's quite nice, and this is also undercut in the basalt. So as you can see, it's undercut, and they actually removed the basalt here because all the material underneath is gone. And you can see how dangerous this stuff can be. Anyway, that's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next.